What's up? What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome back to another edition, another week, another Monday of MVP Sports Live. I am joined, as I always am, with my beautiful co-host, Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
Dave, how was your weekend? You have a good weekend watching not one basketball game this weekend, but two basketball games.
Yeah, no, good sports weekend. Lots of sports going on this weekend. Can't complain.
I mean, there were some good sports. There was also some bad sports this weekend. By bad sports, I mean, things you don't want to see happen.
Well, that was unfortunate for one man.
Which we're going to talk about that. Another man getting fired, losing his job.
Deservedly.
I'm not saying it's not deservedly, but I'm
just letting the people know that I think he deserved it.
There are some things where it's like, there was some good, there definitely was some bad. Dave and I are going to talk about it all. NBA, NFL, everything that went down over the weekend. Before we do, kind of some quick housekeeping. Discord first. If you're not in it, you're too late, but join it. Link down below, or ! Discord into Twitch chat in order to join it. There you go. I did that for you. So go ahead, join it. If you're not joining it, you're behind the eight ball. If you want to support us, make sure to go to Patreon or patreon.com/MVPvids. It's one of the ways you guys can support us. Bronze, silver, gold, or platinum tier. Thank you to our Patreon sponsors, Pat Hill and Philly Sean. And we are on Twitch. You can also support us on Twitch by subbing. We're here every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids. But we are also on YouTube at MVP Sports. So, Dave, let's get into the first thing I want to talk about today. And this is kind of like a little quickie. And there are kind of two little... It's just like... I feel like we need to bring these up. But yet again, it's like, should we bring them up? Dave, we've got some more cases of COVID in college football. The first one...
I'm sorry. I have to just openly object and let people know.
Yeah.
I mean, we literally had the NBA Finals, the summation, the accumulation of the entire NBA season just wrapped.
Yes.
And we're like, let's talk COVID in college.
Yes.
No, let's not talk the biggest game of the fucking NBA season.
So, okay.
Let's not talk the 14 games of football that happened or the two that haven't yet. Let's talk college football COVID. That's our big break-in story of the day.
It's the little itty-bitty notice. The thing with the finals is, the weird thing is, I don't know about you, I never like to lead off with Wet Boys. To me, Wet Boys is like a segment cutter. Like hey, let's put Wet Boys in there to transition from one to the other. And all of our Wet Boys today were going to be NBA players. So I'm like, okay, cool. Wet Boys can also be finals talk. I don't know, Dave. That's just what's going on in my dumb brain.
It feels disrespectful.
It's not disrespectful. But the quickie updates are the Florida Atlantic Owls have 18 confirmed cases with 9 staffers. Well, 18 plus 9 staffers, the 18 being players. And Dave, Oklahoma State Baylor is reset for December because Baylor on Thursday suspended all football-related activities because the school needed to evaluate recent positive tests for COVID and perform contact tracing. So that game is going to be scheduled for December 12th or the 19th, which is right before the committee makes their decision. That's all I wanted to do with it. Just a quickie update. Shit's happening. You know our thoughts. Why are we having a football season in college? Fun fact, I was watching Miami and Clemson with my parents over the weekend, and my dad was hearing the crowd noise, and he goes, "Oh, so are those actual fans, or are they piping in that crowd noise?" And I looked at him and went, "Oh no, those are fans. Fans are at that game cheering." And then they showed a shot of the fans, and my mom's like, "That's a lot of people that are there." I'm like, "Oh yeah," and half of them are not social distancing at all.
You don't say.
But Dave, the real first topic is the Atlanta Falcons. A coach firing, probably the big
not just a coach firing,
a GM firing. And did you hear the little snippet from today with the Falcons?
What was that?
Owner Arthur Blake not sold on Matt Ryan's future. So not only is Dan Quinn gone, not only is Dimitroff gone, but Matt Ryan could also be gone after this season, or could be his replacement could be drafted and he could just be benched.
Here's the thing.
He's
ahead. Making $40 million. He's making another $40 million in the next year, and I think $20 million the year after that.
Yeah.
So you can be not sold on Matt Ryan, but you gotta pay the man because you promised him.
Well, I mean,
so I think
the whole
trade him? Was just who's gonna eat that contract? Unless they're gonna be like, we'll trade him and then we'll eat $30 million of his $40 million contract. Like this. He's only 34. I don't think this. I'm sorry, this isn't a Matt Ryan's washed conversation, but I do have to take it there because his comments basically to me were just like, hey, if a GM wants to come in here and knock my socks off and be like, hey, here's my plan for flipping the Falcons in 4 years. Matt Ryan's not part of it. Hope you're not offended. He's like, look, I don't even give a fuck about Matt Ryan right now. Like, I'm sick of my team getting embarrassed on national television week after week after week. Anybody can go. I'm not tied to him. I think that's what I read into. I was like, look, I'm not done with him, but at the same time, if he has to go, he has to go.
Well, I mean, the thing too is this is a team that not too long ago, what was it, like 3 years ago, was in the Super Bowl. They were in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady, and then
28-3 ruined their life.
What?
28-3 ruined their life.
28-3 ruined their life. But yeah, this was something that I feel like ever since week 2, we've been told. Like, we were talking about Dan Quinn getting fired even before Bill O'Brien got the boot out of Houston. Like, they were 0-2, 0-3, and like our Discord was even lit up. I know Sam kept posting like, is this the week Dan Quinn gets fired? Is 0-3 it? Is 0-4 it? Well, magically 0-5 was the magical number that made them go, hey, you know what? Shit needs to change.
It was the fashion it happened, though. I feel like because it was just, I mean, you had a couple weeks where you just gave away wins. You gave away wins late in the game, and like that's a horrible that's
like with the Cowboy game
blown out. The Cowboy game, the Bears game, the game after that, the game after. I mean, it's just like how many times? And then this past week was just a failure on all parts. Like they didn't really have anything going at full steam. So I think the way they lost hurt more at some point, but change definitely needed to happen. I'm glad for the Falcons. I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, because like two of those three games, like Seattle and Green Bay, you kind of had a feeling maybe we're not going to win those games, especially with how Seattle's been playing this season and Green Bay have been playing. But like you said, Dallas, they led in that game. They let the Cowboys come back and win. Chicago in similar fashion. And then Carolina, who I feel like another thing that went into this was the Carolina win, or the Carolina loss, I should say, this past week is beginning of the season. Everyone thought, all right, the Falcons may not be the Saints or the Buccaneers this year, but they should be better than the Panthers, right? And the fact that the Panthers are now, 3-2, and now the Falcons are 0-5, to where it's like, you know what, shit needs to change. And Raheem Morris is going to take over as the interim. I don't think he keeps the job. I think it's just a interim until they hire in. Dave, the question I want to ask you is not necessarily who should be hired, because I don't think pools are like Eric Bieniemy in the Chiefs is pretty much the main name anyone's going to throw out when a coaching job comes up.
To the Texans already?
Yeah, I mean,
that's the name I've heard Bieniemy to the Texans since 3 seconds after Bill O'Brien got fired.
Yeah,
I was like, Bill O'Brien's gone. Romeo Cannell's here for now. Bieniemy will be here shortly.
Yeah, it's just like I feel like because of the whole Rooney Rule situation, because he seems like that next guy of like, does he deserve a job? Yeah. Is he not getting a job because of how the system is right now? Probably. But I feel like he's always going to be thrown in to a coaching search. For you, what does this next coach have to have? Do they have to be an offensive guy? Do they go with a defensive guy like Dan Quinn was? Like, what's the right fit for the Falcons in a coach?
I would prefer someone who knew defense well. I think you can go out and get yourself a young offensive coordinator, someone who's got a little inventiveness to him. Honestly, it's credit to who was the offensive coordinator they had there who bounced out to?
Was that Dirk Cotter? Who was? Or no, Dirk Cotter's there right now. They had Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah. It's credit to Kyle Shanahan, because everywhere Kyle Shanahan's been in his career, has played excellent, and then when he leaves. Yeah, there's a fucking difference. You can't replace Kyle Shanahan that easily, turns out. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the big deal. It was just trying to continue that offense in the same style, but without that big brain behind it. So it's like, well, if plan A fails, we don't really have any backup plans, and there's no pivots off this situation. So it just felt like offensively they were stunted. Obviously, not having Julio Jones out there every week is going to suck. Yeah, he's been hurt, but you have Calvin Ridley still. You still have a first-round talent out there. You have other guys out there who make a difference. So the weapons aren't the problem. The play calling's a problem. Maybe the quarterback play is a problem. Maybe the offensive line's a problem. But mostly the play calling, in my mind, is a problem. When I watch that offense, try to move the fucking ball. It's the play calling. It's blatantly obvious. So it's not a play caller or quarterback. At the end of the day, I would lean towards defensive. I would go get yourself a defensive guy and go hire somebody to be the offensive coordinator and play caller separately. I don't like putting those guys in charge of the whole team.
Yeah. Because for me, I'm trying to think because it was Kyle Shanahan. Then they, for a while, had I think he was the coach at Washington. Then he was an offensive coordinator for Nick Saban for a year, won a national championship doing that. I think Sarkisian.
Right. Yeah.
No, Sark. Yeah, Sark was, that's right. So, okay, he was coach of Washington. Then he went to USC, and I'm just going to say failed miserably at USC. Only had 2 years there and didn't live up to what they thought they were getting. Then he was at Alabama for a year as an offensive analyst, then got the OC job with the Falcons before going back to Alabama, where he's the OC right now.
So there,
because it was Shanahan, Sark, and then Dirk Cotter, who I believe is still there right now. And that's why, to me, it's like you mention all these weapons. They have, like, yes, I know Arthur Blank said that, hey, you know what? Matt Ryan is not, like, the Matt Ryan thing is like if a GM comes in and says Matt Ryan's not a part of the plans, I don't care. But you still have Matt Ryan on this team. You still have Julio Jones. You have Calvin Ridley. Todd Gurley's an interesting one because 1 year contract, how well is he going to play to where at the end of the year are other teams going to want to pay him? Or are you going to be able to give him a favorable contract? And one of the names I was going to like bring up was Plummer, who asked about it in Twitch chat. Because I'm seeing in articles this name gets thrown out there is Byron Leftwich, where the last time I heard about Byron Leftwich on NFL Cast, they usually don't talk about him with Buccaneer games anymore because, you know, you got...
I actually did hear his name last week.
Did you? Okay.
Thursday. I should say Thursday.
I heard it a lot with Jameis Winston because when Winston was there, it was all the, well, you know, Byron Leftwich is really working with Jameis Winston to really make him a better quarterback and have that kind of decision-making. And I think Byron Leftwich is doing the play calling for the Buccaneers. I don't know if that changes with Tom or changed with Tom Brady coming in, but like everything I'm seeing, and maybe this is just the media just being the media, is offensive coaches. You've got Byron Leftwich. You've got the Josh McDaniels, the Eric Bieniemys.
Josh McDaniels would be another interesting one. He's got to be right up there. Everybody's like, well, is he waiting for the throne? Is he stick around? You know,
I see. That's because he should have had the Indy job.
He had the Indy job.
He had it. It was his job, and then he left. Yeah, like
mid-flight. He was like, "Yep, nope, going back." Because
I remember Mark and I on the Onside Kick were talking about, oh man, breaking on the podcast today. We got Josh McDaniels, as we're talking about this conversation, going to be the coach of the Colts, and we were all like, oh, it's a good hire. Like I think it was, oh, it's a smart hire, but let's see what he does away from Bill Belichick. Yeah, and then like Frank Reich comes in and look at what he's been able to do with the like. Yes, a lot of that too is also their GM drafting well, but Frank Reich with that team has them playing well. The one name that I see that it's like this is another one that's like, can we please stop mentioning this name?
Stop recycling names.
Lincoln Riley.
Yeah,
it's like he ain't leaving for Atlanta. I'm sorry, people. Maybe this year might be the year he finally leaves for the NFL. Because like Oklahoma ain't doing well this year, I know they beat Texas in quadruple overtime. You beat your rival, but you ain't going to the college football playoff this year. Maybe he thinks like, oh, well, Shane, who's the quarterback, Shane Radier, I think is his name. The kid that I was telling you about that played with Nico Mannion in high school. Yes. Maybe they're thinking, well, he's only a freshman. He'll only get better at time. Maybe I don't have to leave this situation and can still mold this quarterback. That's just a name I see, and I just go, I don't see him leaving college. It's just, I feel like I'm all Lincoln Riley'd out right now. But like Byron Leftwich to me would be an interesting one to where I don't know if he I don't know what I would feel about him being the head coach, or if he's just a permanent, you're an offensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? Because with the head coach, you've got more responsibilities than you do just being an OC.
No, I agree. The thing at the end of the day, though, is regardless of what they do with head coach, it's the GM that needs to be there. That's the guy who has to craft this team. That's the guy who has to figure out that 53-man roster. And without knowing a direction, what do you do with this team? Are they on paper have multiple good pieces on the offense and a bunch of interesting pieces on the defense? Mixed bag, I would say. Mixed bag on the defense.
Yeah.
Because they've got a couple guys who can absolutely go, and then there's definitely some holes they need to fill in. So it's what do you do? Where are we as a team? Are we now a rebuilding team? Is this we're 0-5 right now? Do we expect to go, 2-14 this year? Is that our destiny? Are we going to go get Trevor Lawrence? Are we going to go take another top quarterback, or are we going to be moving and shaking and stacking up draft picks because we have to reload this team? Because look, it is a situation where we might as well just bring everything to a fucking halt and get this on the right track sooner rather than play along the Matt Ryan can still let us compete while retooling. Because I feel like that's the mistake.
Yeah.
That, again, they have talent, but I want to know if they can pull the rebuild tool. I don't want to retool. I want to rebuild.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with the Matt Ryan contract, though, that I will throw out there, and this is yet again the only thing for me that may make it to where they do try to shop him this offseason to see who wants him, is after next season, he does have a potential out. So it's the same thing that kind of Aaron Rodgers has. So if there's a team that's hey, we need a quarterback, either ours got hurt late in the year and he's not going to be healthy for the beginning of the season, or if it's this team's ready to go, we just need this quarterback. If there's a team that wants to trade for Matt Ryan, and then, hey, if it doesn't work out, we just eat the, $26.5 million dead cap. Yeah, because he jumps from, basically this year, he's making $1 million with a $9 million signing bonus. And then, that's because he restructured everything. And he jumps up to $26 million next year, or $23 million, I'm sorry. Then 16 million, then 20 million again. So if there's a team that's hey, we can eat 1 year of Matt Ryan's contract and then get out of it if it doesn't work, that's the only way he moves.
You eat dead cap. That's awful.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a lot of fucking money.
That would be 2 years then of his no. The dead cap is the next year of his contract. So you eat the dead cap. That would be his 37-year-old year, so his 22 year.
Plumber, who is the guy from ESPN you referenced for their GM role? I'm blanking on which.
Louis Riddick. Is that who he's referencing?
Oh,
because Louis Riddick has been tied to GM
roles. That's true.
And the only reason I mentioned that off the top of my head when you say that is fucking what GM role was it? There was some GM role. It might even be the Texans that Pat in our watch along, one of them that we did, said that he liked Louis Riddick as a GM.
Mixed bag. So, I disagree and agree with a lot of things he says. I don't know. That's not a bad thing or a good thing necessarily. It's just there's a lot of stuff he's on record for because he's had all that TV time. So I think you get to know him a lot more than the other candidates who it's just I can only judge you based off your results, not off your public comments.
Yeah. The thing I did want to throw, because we were talking about Matt Ryan, though, is you brought up the draft. You brought up what should be the plan. And right now, I was actually doing a little bit today. I was like, you know what? Usually I do a quarter season mock draft is when I think about my first one. So today I'm like, I'm going to map through the mock draft. Then once the Monday and Tuesday night games happen, kind of solidify it. Right now, Atlanta's the second pick. They're obviously tied 0-5 with the Jets and the Giants at the top three. But right now, they would be the second pick if the draft was today.
How do they do that by record? Like, wait, so if they're all 0-5, how
the tiebreaker is off of
points allowed or something?
Strength of schedule. So right now, the Giants have the weakest strength of schedule at 5-5-1. So they get the first pick. Atlanta has a 5-6-8, and then the Jets have a strength of schedule of a 6-2-2.
I don't like strength of schedule as a tiebreaker. That seems dumb.
Yeah, I know that strength of schedule comes into the tie-breaking fashion. Right here, how to determine the draft order. Thank you, Tankathon. Tiebreaker, strength of schedule is first, then division tiebreaker, conference tiebreaker, interconference tiebreaker, and then if all those are the same, the good old toss a coin, Dave, see what you get. And don't hope that there's a lottery and that by winning the coin toss you get fucked out of the second overall pick and that's Luka Doncic. Like, don't let that happen to you.
I feel like it should be like point differential.
Okay.
Like if you're a team who's getting blown the fuck out, then you probably need the help more.
Yeah, that makes sense. But at the same time, are you just playing good team? Like, are you just playing good teams and getting blown out? Like, that's another thing. There's no way that's safe. But the point of this question is Falcons are 2. So the Giants are 1. They'd be taking Trevor Lawrence, or someone would be trading up for Trevor Lawrence, something along that fashion. But the needs right now that the Falcons need, and I'm getting this from the draftnetwork.com, safety, edge, linebacker, and running back are their top 4 like primary needs that they list off. You got 2 of those at the top of the draft. You have Gregory Rousseau, the kid out of Miami who's not playing this year because he said, fuck COVID, I'm opting out. Good on him.
Right, edge rusher, yeah.
He's the edge rusher. Then you have a linebacker, either inside, outside, wherever you want to put him, Micah Parsons, who also opted out. Penn State said, nope, fuck COVID, I ain't playing. So you got both of them.
Call that out, yeah.
Or would the Falcons, because of the Matt Ryan stuff, because of, like you said, the let's go with a rebuild, and if you had to have him sit for at least a year, you could technically have him sit behind a Matt Ryan. Would they go Justin Fields at 2, or depending on how the season plays out, is this a situation of they're like, hey, Justin Fields or Trey Lance, one of those 2 guys are going to be our pick in the first round?
I don't think you need to go quarterback here. Like, as bad as Matt Ryan has played this year, he's still not that old for a quarterback. Like, I wouldn't say that he has to be shipped out of town because of his contract.
Yeah.
I don't think it's easy to move him. So I think you're okay being at the top of this draft. Maybe it's because I haven't seen enough of Trey Lance and Justin Fields.
Trey Lance, we've seen one game. Fields, we haven't even seen yet. They don't start till week 8.
Trey Lance played last year.
Yep.
He didn't throw a fucking pick, and then he comes into his demo game this year and throws 2. One not his fault. One definitely his fault. He just didn't look good. Yeah. And I'm like, I get it. It was a lot of pressure to put on your whole team, and you didn't have the practice time, and there's not enough cohesion between players. So, like, things just weren't in sync. But you still looked like ass out there.
Yeah.
So am I going to excuse that game of, hey, this is the one national TV game we got?
Yeah.
And that's what you gave us? No, I don't think either one of those guys are necessary. Like, you don't need to hit on that if you're the Falcons. I think if I'm the Falcons, I'm going for elite pass rusher. Like, that is 100% what we need. That's what every team in the NFL needs. If you don't have that elite pass rusher, your defense is so much worse because it means the corners have to work harder, the linebackers have to work harder, and you guys are going to be on the field a whole lot longer. So, like, it's lose, lose, lose all around. It's outside of quarterback, it's the most impactful position in the NFL. So I'm all for that edge or pass rusher if you can get somebody either way.
Yeah, for me, I had to look back of like, okay, who did I put there right now? And
is it Mika?
I put Mika.
Sorry, Micah.
Yeah, Mika, whatever it is. I haven't learned how to say it yet. Early draft process. That's the thing, though. Without these players actually playing games, there's no announcer to say, hey, this is what his name is.
I mean, the good thing is about the NFL, we got 2 years of tape on most of these kids.
Yeah. So, yeah. To where it's not like this year's do or die, but like
Parsons and Rousseau, like which one do you think has higher, I guess, pass rushing capabilities?
I think they both have, like, to me with the Falcons, if I'm choosing between Rousseau and Parsons, it's not about what the kid brings to the team. It's about what the team has right now. And you've got basically, so on the defensive line, they have Donta Fowler Jr. on one side. He's locked down for a couple years. And then they've got Takaris McKinley, who he'll be an interesting one because his rookie contract comes up this year. Yep. So they'll have to re-sign him. How much is that going to be for? Is he going to re-sign?
Have that?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a big contract or it's like, shit, we don't have any room for anybody. But like I look at their linebackers and it's like, okay, linebacker, more of a need than the defensive line. And that's why I went Parsons, personally for me. But, like, I would go the same way. I'm with you, to where it's like, I don't think, unless you're number one, Falcons do not need to go
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Get Trevor Lawrence outside of that.
Yep.
Both of these other guys, I don't think they're in that much of a rush to do it. I think Trevor Lawrence is a generational quarterback, has been the guy who was promised he's the next Andrew Luck, except hopefully he doesn't get treated like Andrew Luck does when he joins the NFL and gets stuck on a team with no offensive line, no help, and gets battered to shit from year one.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And the funny thing about how the NFL draft works right now is because all three teams would be tied at the top, how it works is, so the Giants get the first pick in the first round. Then Atlanta would get the first pick in the second round. The Jets would get the first pick in the third round.
And then back up to the top of the order?
Yeah, and then back up to, and then it's basically alternated. Giants, Falcons, Jets. Well, Patriots, because the Patriots own their sixth rounder.
They do own all their picks, it looks like, this year.
And that's the thing I was going to mention. If you were like, absolutely, yes, I want a quarterback here, I still wouldn't go one at 2, Fields or Lance, because of Parsons and Rousseau being there. If you really wanted a quarterback, you could go with the kid out of Florida, Kyle Trask, at 33 overall.
That kid.
Right now, I like him. Let's see what happens when it's like we get into that part where like, okay, season's over. Let me just like digest your film until I'm sick to the stomach. But like that right now, that's a thing where it's like if you want a quarterback and you like Trask, you can go ahead and get him at 33. Any final thoughts, Dave, on anything we missed with the Falcons or the Dan Quinn firing?
No, good on the Falcons for cleaning house. It's about time. I think everybody's happier that it happened. It doesn't make you a better team tomorrow, so don't expect to flip the season on its head. Even if you do go on a little bit of a run due to a strength of schedule shit going on right now, I don't buy into it. Don't think that you guys are set.
Yeah.
Go rebuild.
Yeah.
Go rebuild. Do it right from scratch.
And at this point, if I was a Falcon fan, I know it sucks to be like this, but you're 0-5, odds of making the playoffs are like this, pretty much slim to nil, if none. To where if I was a Falcon fan, I would almost be rooting for losses at this point. Rooting to be at the top of that draft, to get a Parsons, to get a Rousseau, hell, even to get a Trevor Lawrence if you can land at number 1. But Dave, let's move on into a topic I know you want to talk about, but it's kind of a joint one. Our wet boys today, which are our dampest of dudes, soggiest of shooters, the moistest of men, and sometimes, not right now because their season's over, the mistiest of misses. These are our players of the game, Dave, our players of the day from the day before. This one's a weekend award, and this is kind of going into finals talk because I'm going to spoil it. All of our wet boys coming from the NBA today. There was a tie in our patron one because how it works is Dave gives one, I give one. The patrons at patreon.com/MVP vids, silver and above, get to vote. There was a tie between the person who won it and somebody from the NFL. And I personally made the decision, Dave, of I know that NFL player had a good week. Fuck that player. It's the NBA's turn. Today's the NBA's day. The last day the NBA could kind of rejoice in wet boydom before next season.
And it's our third topic of the day.
And it's our third. Well, technically, like the college football wasn't a real topic. It was like a little mini. It was a little mini one because I hate how we get to the end of the show where it's like we're so burnt out with the show. It's like fucking COVID, man. Like I want to do it.
I love that. That's the way we end every show, though. That's fine.
I will leave them to the end of the show. I didn't like. There was a part of me that's like, oh man, I don't want to end the day fucking yelling and screaming. But Dave, I will let you take it away. Who's your wet boy for October 12th?
I'm guessing LeBron James.
No, you got the other one. So 50-50 chance.
Anthony Davis.
You got Anthony Davis.
My only other guess was Rajon Rondo. It was one of those three guys. Apparently, I got Anthony Davis, who had a all right game, you could say. Really, only 19 points?
Yeah, only 19 points. I was surprised by that too.
Wait. Is that the 2-game average?
No, this is the last game.
Oh, well, Friday counts.
It does, but usually we take the last one and then
no. For the weekend, so, you gotta do the whole weekend.
The last time I summer.
You did a Mel Kiper there. Like,
Dave, no. And here's where I come into it. The last time I took an average, the debate was, oh well, those stats don't seem that impressive.
Well, I think each week we just gotta cater to whatever we want the stats to tell. Either way,
you can talk about Game 5 too. It happened.
Anthony Davis is a wet boy. He and LeBron James combined to be the only two players in NBA history to score 25 points a game average, while putting up, I want to say, over 50% field goal percentage from the field in that series in the final. So incredible fucking numbers from Anthony Davis. Offensively, the dude just soaks points. I don't think he ever missed a free throw in the entire finals or maybe the playoffs.
He did.
I know the finals for sure.
Did he? I think he did. I'm gonna fact check you there.
He missed in the finals?
I think he missed in the last game. I'll check it. I'll check it.
Well, he missed a free throw. He was like 25 of 25 last I saw.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it.
I just naturally assumed he's just gonna keep killing it.
Yeah, I'm gonna check. I know LeBron didn't do well from the line yesterday.
LeBron never does well from the line.
Yeah,
LeBron's a choker.
80 went 5 of 7 from the line last night.
2 fucking misses. How dare he?
How dare he miss free throws, Dave?
I'll say it. In the other games, I don't think he missed a single fucking free throw.
I'm gonna check. In the finals, he went free throw. In the last game was he went 100, 100, 100, 100, and then 71.4.
Yeah, he was perfect from the line. That was the whole stipulation going into the last game. I was like, fuck. If AD keeps getting to the line, you can't stop this team. But yeah, no, he had phenomenal series, great defense, good offense. I mean, nothing to complain about. He's Anthony fucking Davis. Yeah. Now, do I think less of him because he got carried to a championship by LeBron James? Absolutely. Is he a top 5 player in the league? Absolutely not. That's where you get it.
I love the little bit of slight. 2 things about Anthony Davis.
It's straight up slight.
So 2 things about Anthony Davis. One, this is coming. So the reason why I picked, because Dave, you didn't give me a wet boy today. Because I'm like, okay, I'm assuming work is crazy for Dave. I'm assuming Dave is on the side of, I'm going to get Anthony Davis or LeBron, whatever the patrons don't pick.
Or Rondo.
Or Rondo. The reason why I chose Anthony Davis for you was Soapy, our boy here at MVP, sent me a message in the wee early hours of the morning, Dave, that said this. Also, I don't want to force you guys to talk about it, but if you guys could mention that AD in the finals was a part of the 50-40-90 club, I'd appreciate it. So that was one to where I'm like, okay, I guess we'll talk. We'll talk about it. You're not forcing us to do anything. It's a nice little stat thing. There was also a second reason. Oh, the second reason was, and I've got to pull it up on my Twitter here, Dave, is I don't want to do this, but I totally want to do this, Dave. Let's see, where's the person that said it? Basically, Anthony Davis's comments after the finals. Someone asked him about his free agency. I think Shams has it. Let's see.
I checked. Dwight Howard did just miss out on that club. His finals was 75, won 157. What a shame.
Okay.
What a shame. Just couldn't hit a couple free throws. Would have been in that amazingly elite club, an even more elite club, arguably. The 75-100 club. I mean, that's pretty fucking talented.
Oh, here it was. So this tweet was from Mark Medina. And it says, Anthony Davis on how he might handle his potential free agency. I have no idea. 80 then adds, I had a great time in LA this year. It's been nothing but joy and amazement. Over the next couple of months, we'll figure it out. I'm not 100% sure. And Dave, guess what Twitter world went off?
What's that?
Bulls Twitter, baby. He's coming home. He's coming home. He ain't staying in LA, Dave. He's coming home. No. He's going to be a Bull next year.
I don't think he is. I'm pretty sure there were a lot of comments said post-game, and I swear some of them were something like, the next couple of years are going to be like tough or something in the West. I don't know.
Yeah, I just found it funny that Bulls Twitter went off of like, he's coming home, guys. He's coming home.
There's no way he would come home. He literally said, I don't want to come play for Chicago.
Hey,
he's like, I will go to 29 other teams.
We're cleaning house, Dave. We're the new girl on the, we're the girl that was like, from your hometown, they were like, dude, I'd never date her. Then it's like a couple years, she cleans up and you're like, oh wow, I'm looking at her in a different light. That's us, Dave. That's us. We're cleaning house. We got a new coach, a new GM.
So he would leave the best team in the NBA playing with the best player in NBA history.
Hey. Crazier things have happened, Dave.
And be a middle team in the East and lose to Kevin Durant.
Or be a top team in the East and go to the finals. You never know. Weak East, Dave. You never know.
Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Giannis, Jimmy Butler, Jason Tatum. Mm-hmm. What part of weak East do you... Because it looks like the fucking East are the monsters.
I just love saying the term weak East because of the memes.
Yeah, it's a trigger word.
But Dave, my wet boy comes from the NBA, but he does not play in basketball games.
It's Adam Silver.
It's Adam Silver. You want to know why, Dave? Goose egg. Fucking egg. 0 COVID cases in the bubble.
He deserves it.
What we're seeing in college, what we're seeing in baseball, what we're seeing in the NFL, Adam Silver goes, fuck y'all, best commissioner.
We could get him like a golden wet boy or some shit.
I mean, we could give him the golden wet boy that we only gave David Stern.
I mean, that was posthumously. I don't feel good about that then.
Do you want to give Adam Silver the golden wet boy? We can do it right now, Dave.
I might. Yeah, he saved basketball.
Fuck it. Golden wet boy then. 2 golden wet boys.
It's official.
Both NBA commissioners are now golden wet boys.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that because there's no way.
Did we technically give Kobe a golden wet boy too?
Might have. Sean and Kobe never really was a great subject.
No, we didn't because of the whole Sean thing with the Mamba mentality.
Yeah, Mamba mentality.
Yeah, that's why. That's why we didn't do it. I remember that now. I remember Sean not going off about it on the show, but I remember him after the show giving us the full rundown of why he does not.
He went off during the show a little bit.
But not the full thing.
Not the full.
Not the full thing. So, okay, the second golden wet boy officially done right now. Sorry, Adam Silver, your graphic then is not right. It should be a golden Adam Silver name at the top. And then Dave, the patrons went with that dude. Fucking 4 finals now. LeBron James. He's the one where it's like triple-double in the finals. And I will say this. I was absolutely correct on Friday to where I said that the Heat would come out in Game 5. They would win, which they did. And then we'd get fucking pissed off LeBron or pissed off Lakers. And the Lakers would end it when they did on Sunday. Dave, we'll get into the finals then as a whole. What's your thought now you've got to sleep on the fact that the Lakers are NBA champions this year?
You know what? It's probably the hardest finals victory in NBA history, you think?
Because of the season as a whole?
Because of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in context of the season, we've never seen players have to undergo the levels of stress and complication, the start, the stop, the conditioning, the health concerns. Like, I don't think we've ever seen a more challenging NBA finals in NBA history. So,
well, not even to mention when the NBA stopped for a couple days. Right, like, was that during the playoffs? Yeah, right during the first round when the playoff paused for a couple days because of the the racial injustice that we've had the Milwaukee Bucks basically say, no, fuck this, we ain't playing a game today, there's bigger things. So had to deal with a pandemic, had to deal with racial injustices and standing up for what you believe in, And then on top of everything, playing in a bubble and not basically being at home and everything would be normal.
Family, loved ones for 3 months. I mean, this has got to be the most difficult NBA Finals in NBA history. It's just it's an incredible feat what they did, and congratulations to them. And I know definitely a lot of shout outs to Kobe were done last night, and it's an awesome scene. The thing that kills me is it turned into a giant fucking party in downtown LA, and the police had to arrest like 75 people because they would not leave because nobody was wearing masks and people were celebrating, getting drunk, doing damage to vehicles and buildings. It's like, okay, we get it. We're thrilled for you, but
we're still in a pandemic, people.
Yeah, do you remember that we have a pandemic going on right now and that 215,000 people have died in the last 8 months?
Yeah.
It's a mixed feeling on that end. But again, incredibly thrilled for the Lakers. That roster was built by, no offense, scraps. It felt like scraps.
No, it was. It is. It's scraps.
A lot of people were taking knocks on the Clippers, being like, "And look at that fucking team across town spending hundreds of millions of dollars overstuffing the roster, and we're the ones here at the end of the day holding the trophy." We've got an over-the-hill playoff Rondo who popped off for I don't know how many times in his career. It's just playoffs happen, playoff Rondo happened. Largest difference between his first ring and the second ring in NBA history. I think the first player to go Celtics to Lakers for a championship. Just so much about like what he did in that series and how much of a turnout he was for their playoff run. Because remember how bad they looked without Rondo?
Yeah. Well, and that was the whole thing of like, we were talking before the playoffs of what kind of Rondo were we going to get.
And it was playoff Rondo, baby. Fuck you haters.
There's only one thing that I kind of, because like you're right, this season has been a difficult season. It's been a very different season than what we're used to. There's a part of me that, like you mentioned, the Clippers, and there's a part of me that goes, I wish we would have been, like, credit to the Nuggets this year for what they did. Like, don't want to take respect away from them, but like, there's a part of me that's like, man, I wish we would have seen that Clipper Lakers series. Like, it felt like something we all wanted to see since the beginning of the year, and the Nuggets were like, nah, brah, we're here to ruin the plans. Credit to them for that. But like,
Kobe LeBron never happened,
There's a part of me that thinks, and I thought about this as I laid down last night to go to sleep, of I'm glad the Heat didn't, like, I'm glad the Heat won Game 5, because if it would have just ended in 5, I would have been like, well, this, like, I would have felt like, oh, well, this was a pointless finals. That it actually went to 6. But then there was a side of me that was like, the way yesterday's game ended, were like, watching it along with you, where I was like, flipping back and forth between Sunday Night Football, being like, oh, how many are they down again? Oh, still up 30, to where it's like, I almost had the thought of, would it have been better if the finals ended in Game 5 with a pass out to Danny Green, hits the shot, to where it's like, damn, that was a close game and it ended on an epic moment, rather than X team won by 30 some points. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing where I'm just like, it's not me trying to weaken the championship, because you won. That's all I can say. You won the championship. That's the prize at the end.
Perhaps the most convincing way possible.
But like me fantasy booking, it's like
in the NBA.
Yeah, but it's like I don't like seeing blowouts in the regular season. I like in the finals. It comes down to me. It's like, yes, the Heat were gassed. You could see that they were gassed. They were when they're not making free throws, they're gassed. To where I'm sitting there and I'm going, man, maybe like for me, maybe ending on an epic moment would have been like, all right, fucking, like, at least it ended in the most epic of ways, rather than like, okay, 30-point victory.
I would have had to listen to the jerk off stories of, well, LeBron had to pass it out to Danny Green to save his championship, just like Michael Jordan did, and all those fucking comparisons from these 60-year-old fucking basketball writers.
I mean,
I keep up with modern times, and I can't fucking stomach that narrative.
I saw that on Twitter.
Down 30 points, no problem.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter, and even me in the Michael Jordan camp, Michael Jordan the GOAT, even me was like, You can't take that. Like, you can't fucking be like, oh, well, he's a worse basketball player because he had to pass to Danny Green. Because even from the last ride, there was a scene of, like, on the bench, Steve Kerr going to Michael, hey, I got this. Look for me. I'll be open. I got this. And what did Michael do? Boom, right off to Steve Kerr. Like, trust in the teammate. To me, the bigger issue that you should have had is fucking Morris twin out there, instead of looking to his right, seeing a wide open LeBron who could have taken a shot and maybe won it. Nah, I'm just going to haphazardly lob it into AD, who is being blanketed by Bam Adebayo. Like, that's the decision to me where it's like, I know it's a, like, quick decision, but, like, oh, LeBron. Seems like a simple one to me. That's the guy you should be looking for when you're Markieff Morris with the ball.
No, nobody goes to Keith for the quick decision making, man. That's not exactly his forte.
Oh,
not concerned with that shit at all. But no, I don't care that it ended in a blowout. I think again, literally, we watched the best basketball. We watched the best team beat the second best team in the NBA. I think the NBA Finals actually got it right this year. It's just a fucking shame that Bam Adebayo had to play hurt. And it's a shame that Goran Dragic was playing hurt when he got back for, the 5 minutes of meaningful gameplay that he got in this game. Had we had a healthy Bam, had we had a healthy Goran, this series would have been different. I think after watching what we watched in Game 5, like, oh, this shit would have gone 7, 100%, and the Heat could have won it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt in my mind that when the series started, I was like, I understand that the Lakers are the better team, and they will win. But my heart of hearts, I want the Heat to win. And I was like, okay, about 80-20, Lakers are going to win this in my head. Now, after watching like a healthy game, if they had all been able to stay healthy, I'd be like, fuck, the Heat can fucking win this shit. I would have gone to honestly, 55-45, Yeah. It really would have closed that gap out after seeing them play one game against them just to get bearings down. Like, okay, shit, they can handle the situation.
Yeah, for me, it was easy from the start. Like, my heart and even everything was just with the Heat, just because of the fact of what team they were going up against. To where it's like,
you voted out of hate.
Well, no, there are 3 teams. There are 3 teams in all of sports that if they are in the championship, I will be voting for whoever they play against. The Lakers are 1. The Yankees are 2. The Cowboys are 3. Like, those are it. Those are the 3 teams. If they are in a Super Bowl, if they are in a World Series, if they are in a finals, I don't care who's on the other side. I am going to be siding with that team just because, maybe it's a fact of, like, ever since I've been a kid, it's been, like, those 3 teams that are, like, the most popular. It was kind of like when we were a kid with Tom Brady, where it's like everyone was a Patriot fan when they started winning. To where I was like, every year I was like, fuck the Patriots. Hope the Panthers win. Hope the Eagles win. Hope they win. It was like, fuck, Tom Brady keeps winning. Tom Brady keeps winning. What is with this guy? The thing I love after the finals, although I would have been one of the people if I had the link to sign the petition to not get him a ring because I feel like he didn't deserve it. He got carried. Kyle Kuzma. We've made that joke. The thing I did love, in his post. Did you see what he said in his post where he's like, what?
The shirtless post game.
Yeah, where he was like, to be honest, I'm like half drunk right now with all the champagne, so I don't really know how to act right now.
Yeah. I'm happy for the kid. He got overhyped because he was from, he got in there as a shooter, and that was everybody like hyped him up.
He wasn't Washington State, was he?
Where it's from. All I remember was he got talked up so high with Kuzma's the one we kept out of that AD trade because we knew that he was going to be the best player. Like, y'all are
Utah.
Insane.
That's what he was. Utah. Clay was Washington State.
Okay, but no, I mean, I hated Kuz because of the Lakers fans who hyped Kuz to be like the next fucking scoring wing in the NBA, the next Carmelo Anthony, to be honest.
Plumber, don't speak that into existence. I don't want Kuz on the Bulls. I don't want Kuz on the Bulls.
He might be. Who knows? He could be our new starting small forward.
I don't want him. Also, the meme of the JR effect. JR no shirt, Kuz no shirt. fucking
the celebration on the court. He was shirtless already. Yeah. Like, did he wear a jersey in that game? Can anybody confirm?
But it was like he had no shirt on. Caruso had no shirt on. Yeah. Dwight had no shirt on.
Dwight Howard get the championship. How awesome is that for him?
Dude, the thing also,
can we admit
what
greatest dagger in NBA history? What? Dwight Howard walk up 3-pointer to end the fucking game. Okay, there are 20 seconds left still, but he walks up and just drains a 3.
I will say, although I did not want the Lakers to win the finals, although I wanted the Heat to win,
so many of their players.
The thing that made me actually cry was, did you see the IG story that Dwight put out?
No.
Where it was him and the trophy, and he's just sitting there holding it, and you could see he's crying, and he's like, you know, to all those kids out there and all those people right now that are like, you don't think it's ever going to happen. He goes, 15 years, damn it. 15 years. Don't give up, because one day you're going to be there. And I was like, oh my God, Dwight, you're going to make me cry.
I love Dwight at this point in his career. Like, he has worked his ass off. He took a nothing contract to fucking earn it with this team. Like, could not say enough good things about him at this point in his career.
I do love Plummer, though. Why the hell is JR in front like he played a minute? LeBron wasn't going to let him play a minute because he knew what happened last time JR played.
Dion Waiters gets a ring.
Well, he was getting a ring either way.
Jared Dudley gets a ring.
Cousins is up for a ring.
Cousins. See, that's
Cousins is eligible. That's what Shams put out. He's eligible.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if he'll take it. We'll see.
Best moment of the celebration too. Quinn Cook being left at the bubble.
Left at the arena.
Had to comment on JR's story like, "Yo, turn the bus around. You left me at the bubble."
Yeah, I love that. I mean, it was a lot of great moments. A lot of great players. I'm glad they get their time to shine. Danny Green, though, I can guarantee you that man's never getting another big contract in his life. Like, I'll be surprised if he can make over $10 million. I think he's on a contract next year.
Back-to-back finals for Danny Green.
3 teams.
Well,
three teams,
not even that, just back-to-back. He was with the Raptors last year.
I know. I'm just saying 3 teams, 3 rings. He's the new Kawhi Leonard.
Well, so, can I get one thing off my chest, Dave? Am I
LeBron James, too, actually. LeBron James, 3 teams, 3 rings.
And that's
Danny Green, 3 rings.
And that's the thing I want to get off my chest really quickly is now, and actually Danny Green is a free agent this year.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, no one's going to pay him money.
Yeah, he was making 14 and then 15 mil this year.
Yeah, he's going to be making like 7 on a day. Yeah. He looked like ass when they needed him. He's just a street shooter. Defense went downhill too.
Here's the thing I want to get off my chest, and this is a really small one.
I'm gonna pick at it probably.
Well, it's like I've said before. I'm trying to be better with not being baited into conversations. Like when you were saying GOAT earlier, I'm like, not gonna touch it. Not gonna touch it. We believe different things. But there's one thing I keep seeing that I feel like should not be in a GOAT conversation. And that is the 3 titles with different teams for 2 reasons. One, because there are players like Danny Green. I think Rick Fox is one of them. Robert Ory, where it's like, usually it's like, okay, it's not that hard to do if you're like if you're a ring chaser. B, if you're just like one of those role players that bounces around to those good teams. And like the thing with LeBron, because that's the one I wanted to really touch on, the main reason is I feel like that should not be in the GOAT conversation.
Why not?
Because of the time periods. Like back in the 90s and even before the 90s, it wasn't really like guys weren't switching teams like they are now, where it was like usually you're drafted by a team, and that team, if you're good, is going to be able to keep you for as long as they can. And like, it's one of those things where we didn't really see the big names switch. Like LeBron pretty much started that, I would say, in the NBA. Like his decision was almost like oh shit, we can move if we're not happy. Like we can do that. And like player mobility is different now. And I'm not saying like player mobility is a bad thing. Don't put that in my mouth. I love what LeBron had done with although the decision was bad, what everything is done, like KD not being happy, being able to move, what Giannis is soon going to do because he's not going to be happy with Milwaukee after next season, to where I feel like the time periods are different, where back then it wasn't common sense to move from team to team. And it was more so like a man, look at that. Like people looked at it as like, man, he stayed with this whole team, won them all with this one team. Good on you. Whereas now, because of we're in a player mobility era, it's looked on as not a bad thing anymore, but it shouldn't be looked on as a bad thing to a player from an older generation because it was just different times. That's why I feel like it shouldn't matter in the GOAT discussion. Is it good? Is it cool? But like being on X amount of teams doesn't make you better than somebody else.
I would argue that one of LeBron's biggest impacts, the NBA, is the decision. Mm-hmm. I think that he changed the way players viewed their own value and understand how much loyalty is necessary to a team and an organization. Because
I agree.
Let's be honest, if they don't give you that, like if they're going to turn around and dump you the second you stop being great, why are you going out of your way to help this team out? You know, you're the commodity. You need to understand what your value is. And if you don't feel like you're being treated well, fuck them. Go somewhere else. Force their hand and get the fuck out of town. Like I think LeBron has done more for player. What's the word I'm looking for here? Like the players' union and the strength behind like what they can
player
do.
Life,
player empowerment.
Yeah, player empowerment.
I think LeBron's done more for player empowerment than anyone has in NBA history. Well, not anyone in NBA history, but I think he's one of the most interesting people as far as that goes. So I would say, like, I do still consider it a positive. I think that being able to do it on 3 different teams means that you have the ability to work with GMs in his case and rebuild the best team in the NBA 3 different times over.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, how do you win with this guy? Okay, well, we put these guys in place. And what makes Michael Jordan special is they were able to take the core of Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and go, how can we rotate a group of guys around them to continue to compete at the highest level?
Yeah.
And the pieces they interchanged and we got to move on from Oakley. Let's bring in a new bruiser. We got to get a big man. We got to let's go get this European kid who everybody fucking hates because he's, the next coming, but he's not actually.
That Scotty and Michael in the Olympics were like, we're gonna show him.
We're just gonna make sure this kid hates life. That's our job, Oh, you think you're gonna come over and play for us? Fuck you. And like going to get Rodman, like all this shit where it's just like we understand that like the building blocks behind like how do you make the shit work? That's what's more interesting to me, and that's why I think I value it more, because I look at what LeBron James has done. I'm going, okay, they tried and failed in Cleveland, could not figure out how to get the best team surrounding LeBron James. They failed miserably. Fuck it, I'm gonna go down to Miami. We're gonna make this happen. We got Wade, we got me, we got Bosh. We've got one of the greatest 3-point shooters in NBA history, and Chris Allen, Ray Allen. Come on, Dave, Ray Allen.
Did you really say Chris Allen?
I said Chris Allen. I don't know why.
Chris Allen? I'm
like Kyle Allen would have been excusable. Chris Allen, not so much.
Chris Allen is a American musician.
Great. I'm totally thinking of that guy, I'm sure. Point being,
maybe
they were able to figure out what to do in a single offseason to set this team up to compete for championships. And then they do it again when he goes back to Cleveland. And then they do it again when he goes to the Lakers. And because of LeBron's power and control over what his teams do, I give him more value than those guys like Ori. I give him more value than those guys like any ring chaser, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But Danny Green's a great example. But I like the mercenary for hire, because I think Danny Green's more mercenary for hire than a ring chaser in my mind.
Yeah, like
he was still very valuable as a 3-and-D wing.
Like he's not J.R. Smith.
Like Spates at the end of their career.
Yeah,
where it was just like he's just there for the ring.
Yeah,
shit like that. So
and the thing,
I think that's different because he has control. He has direct impact over who are the guys on the team around him.
Yeah.
And he did it 3 times in a row. And I'm not saying he gets 100% credit. GMs are worthless, but like I think that being able to work with a front office to build a championship team 3 times is fucking incredible.
Yeah, and I mean, like that's the thing where it's like I agree with you, where you say the what LeBron has done for player empowerment. That's what I was trying to get at, where it's like he's kind of changed the game and he's changed the landscape of the NBA. And to what you were saying of it's impressive to be able to say, I'm going to call my shot 3 times and move. Like, for me, it just comes down to a point of they were from different eras. Like, you can say that LeBron doing that is impressive without bringing down Michael. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's my problem with it. It's like, all I've seen is, oh, look at LeBron's done this, Michael hasn't done that. It's like, yeah, but they were from 2 different NBAs.
Right. Like, no, I totally agree. They're different eras. Like, the pre-2003 NBA is very different than post-2003.
Basically, NBA. Right at, like, we didn't see big stars start to move until, like, because I was thinking about this today, like, Patrick Ewing stayed. David Robinson, I believe, was one team. You have Michael Jordan. What?
Chuck moved.
Yeah, but Chuck was more of his personality. That's what I feel like.
Shaq moved?
That's what I was going to say. Shaq was the big one, where it was like, I feel like once Shaq moved, we started to see it a little bit more, but like we didn't see it as commonplace as we do now, where it's like back then if a star wasn't happy, it was like, well, are they going to trade him or is he just going to stay unhealthy? Like the whole Scottie Pippen thing, where it's like he's unhappy, wants to get traded. Well, we ain't going to move him. Okay, you're stuck here. Where nowadays it's like Giannis is not happy winning the rings. I'm not gonna say he's not happy in Milwaukee. I'm not gonna speak fakey news.
Yeah, Antetokounmpo won a ring.
Yeah, his brother won, which I don't know how that's sitting in the Antetokounmpo household.
I'm sure that thing's gonna get worn every single fucking day.
You know what I'm doing? I'm calling up Pelinka and Bus, and I'm saying if I'm Costa, hey, can I get one favor? Can I get Thanksgiving? Can I just get the trophy? LeBron, can I get the trophy that day? Just, hey guys, what I'm thankful for, and just put it right there on the table next to you. So Giannis, how have you been doing? Just start polishing it.
Yep. That'd be a good time.
Oh man, to me also, last thing before we move on into the NFL games, is it bad that because of this season and how it ended and the way it ended and everything, I cannot wait for next season even more? Because
I'm already hyped.
Because of the fact of like, did you see the post Jimmy Butler put out? Yes. Where it was a picture of the Heat and he's like, don't worry, like basically, don't worry, we'll be back.
Yeah.
Like this ain't the last time you're gonna see us. Like, you
talked about the Dwight Instagram. Did you see the Spoelstra press conference?
No, I did not.
He literally gets up there, sits down, and is just crying. And he's just like, he keeps wiping away his tears from his eyes.
Because he's probably happy for LeBron. Part of it. And he's also sad that his team lost. But like, he is buddies with LeBron too. Like,
but he was proud of his guys and the job they did, overcoming as much adversity as they have this season. Yeah. And it was just like, that almost got me. Like, I was like, fuck.
So
man, like, you're such a good guy and like what you put out there. But yeah, you can't not root for the Heat again now.
So because the season's over, if there was a season award for worst tweet of 2020 in the NBA, would it be the Timberwolves are going to be bad this year, or the one about Jimmy Butler?
I think the Jimmy Butler one wins it because the 76ers are just idiots.
Yeah.
They made four wrong decisions.
Both tweets are bad, though. Are bad.
Oh, yeah. Well, Cat, I mean, that one hurts, but is surprising to approximately 0 people outside of that team. Like, we all knew they sucked.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that they won some games early in the year is great for them, and we're all very proud of them. We'll put up their picture on the fridge with a magnet. It'll be right there for everybody to see. But look, let's wait for reality to kick the fucking door in. Now, meanwhile, you've got the 76ers who just fucking demolished their own like future with 4 moves in a single offseason. 4 moves destroyed the process. And that's all it took.
Yeah.
And that's all it took. And talking shit to Jimmy Butler as like a capper on that was just like that's going to look bad real soon. And I didn't think it was going to be this year.
Yeah.
But it was.
There's one thought I have about next season, and it just kind of popped up into my head right now. If you are a person, because obviously about this season, there are two different people. There's the asterisk people, and there's the non-asterisk people.
Yep.
If you are a non-asterisk person for this basketball season, there is one finals matchup next year that you should be rooting against 110%, because I feel like it'd be the only finals matchup to basically give power to the, well, see, I told you so. Last year shouldn't, like last year was an asterisk, and it's like Warriors Nets. Like they are the two biggest like what ifs for next season of like they were both injured and kind of just took the year off. Did I expect the Warriors to do it? No. My Warriors hubris of being a bandwagon fan.
I think 4th seed the playoffs, maybe, in the prediction.
Did I?
Me?
I don't remember where I had them.
I had them not in the playoffs, and I ate a little bit of shit for that at the time. But about 4 weeks into the season, it was pretty damn clear that I was right.
I thought Clay was going to... I didn't think they were going to fucking tank for the fucking top 3. I thought that they would at least be in the playoff picture and going for it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't think that this year would have went in. Let's see. Predictions.
Clay got hurt early. Draymond can't do shit on his own. He's carried by two of the greatest shooters of all NBA time, all NBA history. So it just became very clear very early that team was just a dumpster.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, the fact that we're going to see a fully healthy Warriors team to start the season next year, potentially with a number 2 overall draft pick on that team added.
We're going to see how far KD can carry Kyrie.
Yep, that's the other thing. So both sides, we're going to have some amazing performances. But again, another testament to LeBron James. The greatest ability is availability. The man has been hurt once in 20 years. Like, it's incredible. He's had one serious injury in 20 years, and that injury only took him out for like a month, I want to say. So, fuck, man. That's some next level shit.
So this year, I'm looking at the right ones. For our player rankings thing, the Jazz were the number 1 team, right? That was going into this year? Okay. Because we labeled it 2019, and I was like, where's 2020? But I guess at the time it was 2019. So
2019-20 season.
Our predictions at the beginning of the year, holy shit, are these wrong?
Pretty bad, right? Pretty bad.
So just number 1 seeds in the West. You had the Rockets, I had the Clippers, Sean had the Nuggets. Sean had the Lakers as the 2 seed. I had them as the 5th seed. You had them as the 4th seed. Dave had the Lakers losing in the Western Conference Finals to the Clippers. I had them losing in the second round to the Clippers. Sean had them losing in the Western Conference Finals to the Trailblazers. Because that was his crazy theory.
That was this dumb.
Yeah. And you had the Clippers winning it all. I had the Warriors winning it all after being the 7th seed. I had the Warriors as a 7th seed going to the finals. Because I was like, dude, they're going to roar through these bad teams, man. And then Sean had the Trailblazers beat the Bucks. We all had the Bucks, but we did not have the Heat. Where did we have the Heat? You had them 7th. I had them 6th. Sean had them 8th. You had them lose to the 76ers in the first round.
Yep.
Sean had them lose to the Bucks in the first round. I had them beat the 76ers in the first round. Suck it, Philly. And then had them lose to the Celtics in the second round. So we
were all wrong.
All wrong at the end of it.
We should have just taken the obvious one out and been like, yep, LeBron James wins his championship.
Hey, man, we didn't even think a pandemic was going to be a thing back then. Back then in October, November.